What up, everybody? How we all doing this week? My name's Protoman. This is the Transformer Slag podcast live stream Saturday night hangout. How we all doing? Unshaved, uncensored, unbelievable. So, what's up, people? We had a pretty quiet news week this week. But there was some big stuff in it that led to a whole bunch of conversations happening. A lot of heated conversations, a lot of arguing, a lot of yelling, a lot of, oh man, just a lot of stuff typical of the Transformer world. But that could be said. So, let's jump into that, shall we? We got 2 hours. We'll do some super chats afterwards. And we'll enjoy. So, the elephant in the room, of course. Let's jump into that. Let's talk about, oh man, Transformers, War for Cybertron, Kingdom, Commander Class. People are texting me right now. Man, that's hilarious. I'm going to just close this. Commander Class, KD-12, Rodimus Prime, all the Rodimus convoy in Japan, as this image is being sourced from. To confirm that this is the Commander class, the Japanese yen currency there is 13,000 yen, which is primarily what the Commander class has been historically in the past with both Skylinks in Earthrise and that of Jetfire in Siege. So, ladies and gentlemen, you are looking at least partially, your Commander class for the Kingdom toy line. Now, keep in mind, huge emphasis on this, and a lot of people, man, just reading everywhere. A lot of people are forgetting that there is a trailer that's going to be involved with this and is probably going to have a lot of bells and whistles that is going to pad out this price point. You're not just seeing what you're seeing here. Not to mention they're missing out on a lot of things. Number one, that car mode is not a traditional hot rod car mode. That is a front end for a Rodimus Prime. Notice the lack of engine, hot rodded engine specifically on the hood, and the spoiler being put in a much more precarious kind of place. Not to mention the sword that he's holding. We'll just show that right now. The Sword of Primus, found in issue number, I want to say it was issue number 93 to issue number 100 of the Transformers Regeneration comic book series by Simon Furman. Very good read. Definitely check it out. And yeah, so he gets that little cool accessory too. He probably, for all we know, he probably has even more accessories. We're just not seeing it yet. This is a pre-order sheet for distributors and was leaked out through Lollapalooza or whatever it was called there, the website that works with the Japanese market. And it's pretty much a pre-order sheet for distributors for March 10th. Another cool image too is if we look here, I believe this is from the episode Burden Hardest to Bear. We get to see Rodimus when he disconnects from his trailer, and it gives you a little bit of an idea of the wackiness that they were going with this Commander class to give that more, ACOM Studios craziness of animation design for Rodimus. But at the end of the day, he also has that amazing Ox design for the robot mode, specifically the oversized spoiler that I love so dear. I think it looks great. Maybe it's just a bias because it's my favorite character. At the end of the day, it is a Commander class. It's going to be pricey. I know it's going to be expensive, even for someone like me who doesn't like to pay full price for Commander class, which says that, there's a strong possibility we might see some kind of reduction or deals down the line, and everyone will be able to get this at some point at a honest price. Hopefully anyhow. But yeah, here's our Commander class. So get hyped, get excited, and hopefully we'll see some more images in the near future, see how that trailer looks connected, see if he comes with more accessories, see how that trailer works from a play pattern standpoint, because we do have a indicator that in the past the Commander class has always been kind of revolving around the play pattern. In the case of Jetfire, it was that of the energy weapons and all the energy accessories. Jetfire came with, I want to say, 9 of them. So he was really playing that up, where every other character only came with 1 or 0. In the case of Skylynx, the whole, city bases and everything, a character like Skylynx that historically, never came with any base mode. He was always a motorized thing or just some kind of combiner gimmick, and now he was a base. So pretty cool. Either way, I'm hyped. I'm excited. Check that out. I'm sure we'll learn more information about it in the very near future. Time is of the essence, as they say. Next we have is Cyberverse. This news actually kind of got completely plowed over because of the Rodimus news. And here is pretty much a indication of what we're going to be getting for the Season 4 toys for Transformers Cyberverse. Now, the sad truth is that we're probably not going to get any kind of news outlet announcements or Hasbro Fan First Friday stuff. A lot of Cyberverse product we find out about for the first time in retail, or someone from a distributor or from someone from a toy storage room or stock room taking photos. Our deluxe price point, specifically the last 3 ones, the Prowl, the Soundwave, and the Starscream, which are supposed to be the more high-end and exciting products for the Cyberverse line, we found out for the very first time, not from Hasbro, and Hasbro had yet to do even an initial announcement. We found out about it just because it was in the stockroom of a store waiting to be put on the shelves. But yeah, that being said, here we have it. So first things first, we have the Dinobot Squad 3-pack at a whopping $32. Judging by that price point, it's probably going to be, I'm going to say, 3 scout classes of higher quality or a lower quality kind of warrior class, which is the low-end kind of deluxes with the Cyberverse line. I'm leaning more on the scouts at that price point. It's probably going to be something like that. What's up, Spider Monkey? It's going to get to that point. Now, who will be in that box set? Who knows? Swoop, Sludge, Snarl, Slag. Maybe even they'll just do yet another Grimlock. Pick your 3. If I had to take a guess, Swoop, Sludge, and Snarl. Those are 3 trademarks that will be safe. They don't have to do yet another Grimlock. And, I don't know, Slag is always a tough one. Take it from me, having a podcast name after it. You never know, though. You never know. Next, we go to the Ultimate Class. Ultimate Class, don't be confused of that high price. It is a simplistic design, usually 3 steps to robot mode and 3 steps back. Usually very gimmick-based, but also a lot of times the centerpiece of whatever that season of Cyberverse toys are. We have a Volcanicus and a Hot Rod. Man, that is going to be a huge Hot Rod. Giggity. That's going to be a huge Hot Rod figure, to say the least. But the Volcanicus, judging by the fact that it's the Ultimate Class, don't get excited about it being a legitimate combiner. If it does combine, it's probably going to be something more along the lines of Power Core combiners, where it'll be non-transformable kind of individual, I guess, components. At least that's what I think. Again, the Ultimate Class never has been something impressive despite that huge price point. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. It does kind of give us an indication that combiners, I guess, will be in Cyberverse with these Dinobots. And there'll be a nice $52, $39 price point item to represent that. Kind of a shame, but again, like I always say, it is what it is. Ultra Class. And the Ultra Class in Cyberverse is also a simplistic 1 to 3 step kind of transformation. We got Sludge, the Dinobot, and Ramjet. Ultra Classes are usually they're gimmick based on the alt modes, the gimmicks. So in the case of Sludge, I don't know, tail swing gimmick, some kind of Dinobot thing going on. Ramjet, maybe the front of his jet mode does some kind of ramming gimmick. Maybe he has some null ray stuff. Who knows? $34.28. Expensive stuff for some, I guess we could call them slightly Voyager-sized figures that will be very simplistic. Ramjet up to this point has only had a Legend scale. I guess we'll call it. I don't know, the scout class for Cyberverse. Doesn't really transform. It kind of does, but it kind of doesn't. Those Legends classes are kind of weird. I actually picked one up today. I'll get more into that when I get to what I got this week. Next, we have the Roll and Combine assortment. I don't know what the hell's going on with that. Probably similar to the Crash Combiners. That's what I'm thinking. Could be that. Again, $24.88, pretty pricey, so it's going to be more expensive than traditional Crash Combiners. We'll find out what happens with that. Too little information. Then we got Dinobot Optimus Prime. Again, going with the dino theme that's happening with the Transformers Cyberverse line. We're going to have some kind of dinosaur Optimus, maybe similar to that of Rescue Bots, as we see here on the left here. But at that $48.97 price point, that is going to be a big boy. Probably something smaller than a Ultimate class, but larger than an Ultra. Hopefully, something that actually has articulation and is fun to transform at that price. I hope so. And last but not least, in the preschool and Rescue Bots kind of subline, we have the Dinobot Defenders and the Dinobot Strikers. One is a 2-pack, one is a single pack. No information given. We just got prices. But it's probably going to be dinosaurs that turn into robots. And that's it for Cyberverse. Next up, want to buy something? Would you like to buy Optimus Prime? So the Bumblebee Movies Optimus Prime that was featured in the movie is for sale for $21,000. If you go to my segment about this, I think it was just 2 days ago or something, you can get more information about it and how this is a bad purchase and why flat-nose trucks are not as popular as they used to be. Not much more I could really say. An expensive Transformer to buy that you could I guess you could store stuff in the back. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. The one good thing is that these flat noses, these are I think they're called the 100 inchers, which they have more space in the back cabin. So I think there's like a double bed back there, and you could kind of chill out, sleep back there and stuff while you're doing your trucking across the road. So, kind of cool. You get to own a legitimate thing that was a piece of the movie. And it won't cost you that much. Actually, most cars that you could buy brand new from a dealership would cost you more than this. So, yeah. Pretty awesome. Let's jump to the 48th Annual Annie Awards. This was announced just this morning. The 48th Annual Annie Awards, for people that aren't aware, the Annie Awards are a award ceremony similar to that of the Golden Globes and the Academy Awards, but dedicated specifically to animation. Hey, Stinkfist69. The Annie Awards normally have not featured anything with Transformers in the past, but now a new category has been created that was not present with the Annie Awards previously, and Transformers has gotten a nomination. More specifically, Transformers War for Cybertron Siege of last year has gotten a nomination. Now, again, if you want to watch the Annie Awards, they'll be Friday, April 16th at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you're a East Coast bum like me, that'll be 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So what is the Transformers going up against, essentially, on the Annie Awards? I did not know any of these shows existed, so at least it was a bit of an eye-opener for me, too. So War for Cybertron Siege is going up against Fast and Furious Spy Racers, apparently a Netflix show that is a spin-off of the Fast and the Furious movies made for a younger audience called Spy Racers. I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of intrigued. I want to just see what that's about. Anyways, the second one, also didn't know it existed, Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous. Again, didn't know this existed. CG TV series made for a younger audience. And yeah, that's also being nominated. I don't know if I'm going to want to check that one out, but it is what it is. I didn't know Jurassic Park had that going on. Looks kind of by the numbers kind of CG, a lot of this stuff, let me tell you. What's up, Larry? Next up, we also have Pixar's Lamp Life, a Pixar Disney short using the Toy Story brand. That one's probably good. It's probably one of the few Disney brands that I actually enjoy, probably more so because it's Pixar. And it's that of Toy Story. So Probably going to be the one that wins, just between me and you. I don't know why. Then we got Tales of the Arcadia Wizards. I have no idea what the story is with that. And last but not least, War for Cybertron's trilogy, Siege, specifically Episode 6, being voted and nominated for the Best FX for TV and Media. So this is what it's up against. Who knows how this is going to turn out? I mean, if I was a betting man, I'm going to go with Lamp Life, with Disney's Pixar and Toy Story. But who knows? All I know, the good thing out of this is I learned that Fast and the Furious has a child-based racing series. I'm kind of curious. Not super curious, but kind of curious. And oddly enough, that's it for the news this week. Aside from the fact that, just to mention also in the case of, I guess, the Netflix series, Stan Bush put out some music videos of his new music using War for Cybertron footage. It's typical Stan Bush run by the mill, capture the dream, take it all for the team. Just typical arena rock, deep soul music, hair band, all that kind of stuff. Seems interesting. Check it out, and that's that. Before we get into what we got this week, and it was a short news segment, unfortunately, but before we get into what we got this week, again, I want to talk about our sponsors. The Hasbro licensed Symbiote Studios plush line. Again, the Transformer plush, the Transformer pins, the t-shirts on our chest. SymbioteStudios.com. Check them out. Cool stuff. A lot of Transformer stuff. The plush series of Wave 1 will be retiring soon. A lot of them are starting to almost sell out. They're very low in stock. So if you have been sleeping on picking these up, get to it fast. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck with the secondary market of scalping of this stuff. Again, symbiotestudios.com/Protoman. No, it's just symbiotestudios.com. Check them out. I'll put the link in the description if you're watching this in replays. If not, symbiotestudios.com. Their name is on the top right. Slam it in. Go check them out. Go buy some plush. And get hyped for Wave 2 that's coming soon. A certain Screamer and a certain Grimlock. So that'll be coming in Wave 2. But again, Wave 1 almost sold out. So be sure to check that out. Yeah. Next up. So what do we get this week? Well, two things. I met up with a guy who locally was getting rid of most of his toy collection. He's moving out of pretty much the city. I guess he's not liking what's going on in the world right now, and he wants to get out of a big city like Montreal here. And he was unloading most of his collection. 99.9% of the Transformers stuff that he has, I have. He was a guy who collected during that Beast Wars Unicron trilogy era. So I had a lot of the stuff that he had. I bought a little bit of this and that in terms of the non-transforming stuff and everything. But the one thing that he did have that I didn't have was Scorn from Age of Extinction. Did not have this figure. Very difficult to find, oddly enough, in the secondary market. And I was just really happy just kind of to see that and everything. That's pretty cool. And, hey, never had Scorn. Pretty cool figure, too. I like him a lot. Like the rubbery thing. This was, I believe, this was the very last wave of mainline Transformers that had deluxes that were still in blister packs before we moved to boxes and stuff, which with the last night we had the premium deluxes. And he also had, and I don't even know why he picked up and he threw it in, the Cyberverse non-transforming Scout class Optimus Prime. Literally, the transformation is that. Yeah, that's it. Oh, Cyberverse. But again, he threw it in, so I was like, oh, okay, cool, sure. I get a nice little convoy to hang out with my stuff. I mean, it's nice. It's kind of cute. Yeah, it doesn't have his mouth. It doesn't have the mouth plate. So, nice little thing with his little energy axe. It'll go with the collection. But he threw it in. Again, it was all about Scorn. And Scorn, by the way, I paid $20 for because I got a animal coming to visit me here. What up? Really tough to get in the secondary market complete, so I was willing to pay the 20 for it. Keep in mind, 20 Canadian. But the big thing that I got was something came to the Transformer Slag podcast P.O. box, courtesy of Michael Koo, who sent it in the mail. Sent me a nice little surprise. And it was that of a whole bunch of Earthrise. Ooh. These were a whole bunch that I did not have. And that's pretty hype of them. Oh my god, you could almost see the black light a little bit. That's pretty cool. So again, you got RC, you got the Alicon, you got Smokescreen, and you got Airwave. Pretty hype, pretty cool. Really dig it. Thank you, Michael. I'm going to be cracking these open throughout the week, and anyone who knows my Twitter and my Instagram, I'm going to take some really nice photo shoots with the Alicon. It's a shame that I got it this week, because I literally on my Instagram and on my Twitter, I did a photo shoot with Alligator Transformers. Crikey. So thank you so much, Michael. Awesome stuff. Really hype. Really hype. Now then, that's it more or less. So let's get into some super chat and questions, and we'll just chill the rest of the evening. There's not much really in terms of news. It's I guess, look, at least in one case, we got to see the Commander class, so at least that's pretty hype. Didn't get to see too much, unfortunately, but you know, hopefully we'll see more stuff at the end of the day. Yeah, Michael, it's cool, man. It's cool. See, here's the thing, and let this be a warning to anyone who sends stuff to Canadians. If you send an item from one country to another, specifically like let's say from the United States to Canada, the big thing is that you have duty. And Michael sent easily probably, I don't know, what would this be in American currency? Probably about, let's say, to call it even, probably $100, maybe $80. So obviously duty cracked it open, and I got snagged with some duty. So let that be a warning to anyone in the future. You know that, but it is what it is. So we got our first super chat question of the day from Downright Superb. Thank you, Downright Superb. Always bring in the cool super chats. If Japan got a chance to do a new TF show, oh God, I would love that. You think they would continue from the old Japanese continuity for nostalgia, or fan favorites like Star Saber? Number one, Japan is way more about continuity and brand and stuff like that. It's funny because there's two sides of the coin with the way Japan handles their fiction. When you have like that older demographic, that like, let's say we'll go with like the 9-year-old above demographic in Japan, you have stuff that has continuity. And like around the time of Superlink Energon, that was like peak Hasbro Takara going like Transformers is an older brand, like people for older people. Excuse me, fans that are, you know, older in the Japanese market. They honestly, like, as much as people didn't like Energon, like that's kind of how they saw it. They saw it like, oh, you know, this is an older demographic brand, which historically for the longest time was kind of a younger demographic brand in the Japanese world. So there was a lot of continuity going on, a lot of throwbacks and story and stuff like that. Unicron Trilogy was an ongoing continuity. Little changes here and there. Obviously, you know, Galaxy Force initially was its own continuity, but then got retroactively put into it. But at the end of the day, the way it is essentially, you know, now I just see them handling how they handle their younger demographic stuff, like Sentai, where everything is a new continuity every single time. So I feel, number one, I would love it if the Japanese did a show, primarily because Japan has not had that steering wheel for a very long time. It used to be like America's doing some fiction, Japan's doing some fiction. America's doing some fiction, Japan's doing some fiction. Like, think about it. G1 Season 1, Season 3, let's ignore Season 4, but G1 Season 1, Season 3, that's America/Korea/Japanese co-production, but mostly written by American people. When you get to the Japanese continuity of G1, obviously all Japanese written stuff. You're talking Master Force, Victory Zone, and Headmasters. Obviously, I put that out of order there. All Japanese written. Then we turn it back. Then we're back at Beast Wars, Canadian, American production, written by Americans and Canadians. So it came back. Then we went to Unicron trilogy and Robots in Disguise, Japanese again. So it's Japanese stuff. But then 2007 happened, and the movies happened, and the rest was history with that. And we have not seen Japanese mainline written stuff. There's been Japanese stuff on the side, manga stories, DVD pack-in animations, little things like that. But it's primarily been a American-driven brand at that point from a writing style. So I'd be very curious to see Japan get their hands on it again. A lot. I would really like that a lot. Just because I like Japan's writing style. It's more of a business kind of writing style. So you end up getting a lot of really cool toys and a lot of cool gimmicks that work into the show. It's not just a gimmick toy line and then it's kind of ignored when you get to it. I mean, think about it. Like, we had Titans Returns as a Go 90, machinima thing, and they didn't really talk about Titan Masters. They didn't really focus on that. A whole line dedicated to a gimmick, and it didn't happen. Power of the Primes? Where are my decoys at? Where are my little, whatever you want to call them, the little decoy armors, the pretenders, What happened to those? Not even featured. If Japan was writing it, all that stuff would be featured because they know that you have to cross-pollinate and sell and make people excited about the different play patterns. Look at Armada. They made sure that mini-con play pattern was focused on. Look at Energon. They made sure that Energon chip and the Energon weapons and all that was focused on. Look at Cybertron. They made sure that those cyber keys and the force chips or whatever you want to call it, depending on which side of the globe you were focused on. That's how you do the marketing of a brand. That's just my take. I think Japan always does a great job. Maybe it's my bias, but I think they do a great job, and I'd like to see them do Transformers again. Would they bring back Starsaber? Hasbro would have to get that trademark for the West then. Because if they have Starsaber in the East, they're going to have Starsaber in the West, unless you're going to get used to calling him Wing Saber or something like that. They tried to do Victory Saber at one point, and it didn't pan out. They were going to trademark Victory Saber. They were going to have it in the Robot Heroes line. The Robot Heroes toy did get into a production level, and some of them did get leaked out. But ultimately, in the end, the trademark didn't happen. So all we have is Wing Saber. And even that one, I think, is expired at this point. Probably. It's probably expired. Have to look it up. Let's jump into another question. I know someone asked, what happened to Jaws D? So Jaws D moved out of his original house, I want to say, it was definitely before the Big V. I want to say about 2 years ago, and he moved into that house, and then there was problems with that house, and then they had to do all kinds of stuff. The computer room didn't get set up. One thing led to another, and then the Big V happened, and then before you knew it, his computer had to be used for work. Long story short, Jaws D's fine. He's doing great. Once in a while, he shows up on the streams, and of course, anyone who sees our once-a-year top 5 Transformers of the year, he still shows up on those. It's just been, look, this year's been crazy. Last year has been crazy. It's been really difficult to kind of work all this stuff out. Not to mention, it was the first time we ever did our top 5 Transformers where we weren't in the same room together. He'll be back. He'll be back for sure. I miss him on the show. But it's just been very difficult with everything going on. And on top of that, him moving out just kind of added an extra layer of complexity to all of that. That made it really difficult. But I'd like to have him more on the streams and stuff because it'll create a lot more better dynamic and conversation. And me and him are always good for that. So, yeah. Thank you for that question. We have here, Dear Proto, would you like to see Power of the Prime Dinobots retooled or repainted into the Dino Force? In all honesty, when they were first teasing the Volcanicus Generation Selects Takara version, at first I honestly thought they might have been doing Dino King. I legit thought that. And then ultimately in the end, they just did a straight up, obviously they repainted it a little bit, but it's straight up still the Dinobots again. I guess just to give those molds one last hurrah in the Japanese market before we got Studio Series. So I think it's, if anything, that Power of the Primes Dinobot assortment from Japan that came out recently tells us that we will be getting the rest of the Dinobots, because it's kind of them going like, let's get these molds sold one last time, so we could do that. But I don't know. It's just I personally, me, if you're gonna have Dino King, if you have to do it cheaply, okay, use Power of the Primes or whatever, because those will be affordable and smaller. But otherwise, I would like something maybe smaller, just so we could have the proper Pretender shells. Because if they're deluxes, then the Pretender shell will have to be huge. I own the Pretender. You can't see them. I own the third-party Pretender shells of Dino King. They didn't finish the set, unfortunately. And those are deluxe size, and then these huge shells. So you'd have to do something that's small, like this, something that's small, so that at least the Pretender shell could be of a modest kind of size, in my opinion. But I would love it. I would love Dino King, because I love Transformers Victory. But it would have to be reasonable in terms of what would happen just for it to be done. We have a question here. Someone asked, did I read issue number 2 of Beast Wars by IDW? Yes, I did. I don't want to talk about it because it's spoilers, and it's very spoiler heavy, that second issue, but definitely read it. Really good book. Shout out to Josh Burcham. He's doing an incredible job. Amazing stuff. I'm excited for issue 3. Cool stuff going on. We got a super chat from Michael Koo. Thank you again, Michael, for the toys. And he wants to know, Proto, why is Rodimus Prime being done for the TF War for Cybertron Kingdom line and not the TF86 line? I honestly, and I've said this before, I feel that the Kingdom line, despite the fact that there's a Beast Wars flavor to it, at the end of the day, still really is a Generation 1 line. And it's something that Studio Series 86 is just... How do I put this? Studio Series 86, I feel, was created, let's put this in a vacuum, was created to just buy the Studio Series line some time until the next movies make new characters. Because if Studio Series 86 continued into 2019, 2020, 2021, doing movie characters from the Bayverse and the Bumblebee movies, I think they'd sooner or later run out of characters, and they'd hit a wall. So by including the 86 movie, now you could buy yourself some time, and then you could do the Ice Cream Twins later. You could do, I'm forgetting some, Stratosphere later or something. You could do those guys later. And it buys them some time so that they could save them for another time. Then, on top of that, by the time we get to 2022, we'll have a new movie, thus new characters, thus new toys to be done. So that's what I think when it comes to Studio Series 86 even existing. Then you go back to what's happening in our War for Cybertron generations, whatever, moving forward. Studio Series 86 exists just for that sole sake, so you have all these characters in it. But at the end of the day, those are characters that, in my opinion, probably would have been in Kingdom. And then we look at Kingdom, and Kingdom was supposed to be something that in all of, again, I love Beast Wars. I'm not saying Beast Wars sucks, but I really feel that Kingdom at the end of the day is still a Generation 1 toy line. Yeah, we got Cheetor. Yeah, we got Optimus Primal. We got Rat Trap. We got Black Arachnia. We got, Megatron. That Wave 1 is stellar for Beast Wars. But Wave 2? 2 Beast Wars characters. 5 to 6 G1 characters. 6 if you kind of, there's a wiggle room with that last one, which is one of the fossilizers, which is kind of a gray area. But you have only Dinobot and Air Razor against, what do we got? We got Inferno. I'm trying to go off the top of my head here. I apologize. But I know it's a lot. We got Inferno. We got, Huffer. We got, what are some of the others? I'm trying to remember. You guys know what I'm talking about, though. But the point is there's more G1 than, we got the Megatron, the Starscream from the Scout classes or the Legends classes. So that's 4 right there to the 2. And then there's 2 others that are G1. And then, of course, we have the Fossilizer. So it's it gets to a point where it's like, at the end of the day, yeah, we're getting some Beast Wars, but it's still a heavy G1 kind of line. So Rodimus being in it, combined with the fact that we know we're getting Galvatron's going to be there, so they're going to butt heads in some way. And then there's so many others happening too, that it's going to happen sooner or later. And I guess you'd have to ask whoever was in charge of the Kingdom line, whether it be John Warden or something, but they just really wanted to do that Rodimus figure in the Commander class. I don't know why. Even me personally, while I'm excited about it, I think a leader class would have been more reasonable, but I guess they really wanted to do something. And maybe it'll make sense. Maybe it'll make sense when we see everything afterwards. When we have the arc and it's this big play set, and then Rodimus's trailer is this play set, and they somehow combine, and it creates like this little city or something going on. And watch, we're going to have like, like how the arc was with Beast Wars Season 3. Who knows? Like there's something that we're probably not seeing here that will have that huge light bulb moment and go, oh, okay, it makes sense now. Now I understand why they went with Rodimus. That's what I think. I think that there's still more to understand here. Thank you, Molly J. Inferno, Huffer, RC, Megatron, Starscream, Ultra Magnus. Right there. Totally throttling it to a Dinobot and an Air Razor. Thank you, Molly. But that's just my take on it. To me, it's always been a G1 line at the end of the day. Downright Superb has another super chat question. Thank you, Downright Superb. Says here, for your information, that Smokescreen's plastic is dangerously thin. Are these better designs worth it? Would a premium Studio Series line for real collectors really that bad? What's bad about him? I mean, I look at him. I'll be honest with you. I look at him, and you're talking someone who has like the masterpiece, Datsun Z, and I love that one of Smokescreen. I have the whole crew. I have like all of them. I even have the blue streak. That this serves its purpose for collectors. If you don't want to spend, what is it, like $60, $70 for the Datsun Z's masterpieces, something like this is good too. Definitely has more or less the same kind of style. Did a very good job. Did a very, very good job. I want to see something though. You can't see the black light. I thought I could see the black light on my camera here. But yeah, what is it that's so thin on him? Because that way I'll know to be careful when I transform him. He looks rad though. He looks rad. What up, Aaron? Aaron Archer in the house. Are these better designs worth it? Well, you know what? It's what people wanted. When you really think about it, like the last time that we had a traditional car, Smokescreen goes all the way back to like the Generations line when it first started with like the Universe 2.0 going into Thrilling 30 and stuff. Which I want to say that's got to be at least almost, that's got to be like almost 7 years for that Smokescreen specifically. Obviously we had the Siege Smokescreen, but I'm talking like a traditional car of that character, not that trademark. So people have been waiting for it. People couldn't afford the masterpiece. It's another option. That's the thing. Hasbro has that trademark. They're going to put it on all different little things for all different price points and all different walks of life of collectors who could afford different things. What up, Jason? So, I mean, that's the way that I see it, more or less. Fire Fury, yes, they don't have the trademark for Star Saber. And you know what's funny with that? I remember talking with, I want to say it was Jared Wade. This was BotCon 2005, 2006, one of them. And it was one of those, it was 2005 or 10. I remember I was talking with Jared Wade, and he was one of the designers at Hasbro at the time. And he said that one of the possibilities for the trademarking and why Star Saber didn't happen is because you have Star Wars and lightsaber. They don't want to have that brand confusion. He can't confirm it, but there's weird stuff like that exists. And I believe Jared was on other brands too outside of Transformers. So Maybe Aaron could confirm it for us also, who's in the chat. But it's just something that there was that kind of brand confusion. So then you had Wing Saber, you had Victory Saber, like I mentioned just before, that didn't happen. So that could be it. We got another super chat by Michael Koo. And Michael Koo wants to know, for Transformers War for Cybertron Earthrise smokescreen, don't force taking apart the tabs. Some of the tabs can break off and have stress. Really? Really? That's a shame. You know what? It's funny because YouTube contacted me for my other channel. Like, legit, like, contact. I got, like, an email on my phone. And they were like, hey, man, like, you haven't done a video on your Proto Retro channel in a while. So, like, it'd be really cool if you did something. And they're actually, like they said, like, I haven't done a video on my Proto Retro channel in 2 years. So I'm thinking of doing it. I'm going back to do one more toy review for now. And I'm probably going to be revisiting this guy, for anyone who knows what that is. So, and the reason why I bring that up is because this guy has a lot of stress marks and pieces. And it's going to be a warning video of the quality. That issue came up after me. Okay, cool. Just wanted to know, Aaron, because I was kind of curious about that. Because Jared, I talked to Jared about it because I guess Jared was the most accessible at the time at the Hasbro booth back then. Again, I want to say it was 2006. I think it was 2006 or 2007. I don't remember. They all merged together at this point when you've gone. I've literally gone to like every BotCon, 2001 up until the end. And sometimes you just forget stuff. Thank you for the question, Michael, and all the cool stuff in the mail. Proto, my question are, what do you think of Dinobot Slash, and do you think she should appear more? Yes, I do. I like the idea of a female Dinobot. I feel it would be cool to see her more in fiction. We've seen that trademark being used, so it shows that there is a potential for it to show up again and again. It's just a matter of when they want to use it. She's a part of the lore and she exists. It's just a matter of Hasbro wants to use that when they do Dinobots. It's one of those things where you kind of end up in this situation where, okay, we're going to do the Dinobots. 5 characters right away slotted in for nostalgia. Then you have to make a 6th that's budget. So, I mean, Slash at the end of the day was like that 6th member that kind of just stuck on, But I love her as a character. I think she's really cool, and I'd like to see more of her. It'd be really awesome, instead of just like a third-party figure. That's about all we really got. We had like a third-party figure that kind of was like a masterpiece version of her that was very provocative, to say the least. But yeah, thank you for the question, my friend. Spider Monkey with the super chat question from Australia. Super chat question from Down Under. What 3 wishlist bots would you pick for the Super 7 Ultimates? Ooh. Well, you know what? With that question, also got your Patreon parcel and it was great. Oh! So, Spider Monkey, for people who don't know, he's a one of the upper tier Patreon people on my podcast, and I always send these big packages in the mail of all kinds of goodies and stuff to people. Actually, part of that collection buy that I did recently was to get more stuff for those packages and stuff like that. He got some autographs and everything, like autographs from Transformer voice actors, not my stupid face. So I forget who I sent him. I think I sent him Tarantulas. So he got Alex Willows. It's a very rare one indeed, and what a cool guy Alex is. But so yeah, going back to your question, Super 7, the one good thing about that wish list is you don't have to be logical with it, because you know me, like if Super 7 did an Ultimates, like if it was me, it would obviously be like, the Legendary 7, do those first. Well, maybe not Devastator, that'd be kind of crazy. But we do 6 of the 7, get those guys out of the way because those will sell the best with the mainstream audience of 80s collectors, and then do the weird stuff. But Super 7, props to them. They have been doing everything off the wall. So because they're doing stuff off the wall, I'm going to have 3 off the wall myself. So Here we go. Number one. All of these are brand new molds. None of them are repaints of what they've already shown us. So, number one, obviously, I'm going to want a hot rod. I'm going to want a hot rod for my, like, I'm torn between traditional, like, here, let me just pull them over here. A traditional, really nice looking Fleero Deary hot rod design, which just has those clean lines and everything. I would love to see it done like that. Like, that would be amazing. And then all of the accessories you could give them. I mean, hot rod, just in the 86 movie. Goggles, lightsaber and training shield, fishing pole, blade hand, welding hand. You want to go one step further. Little Daniel with booster rocket, jet sled, skateboard with hot rod logo on it. You have so much stuff you could throw in. Multiple hands, facials, the whole thing. Different face with the worn out face to give him a Rodimus Prime look. If you want to do it the lazy route without giving him the different coloring. There's so much you could do there. So much fun. Interchangeable spoilers, so you can make it from Rodimus to Hot Rod. That would be number one. I'm giving them free stuff here. If Super 7, if you're listening, here's some ideas. Number two, I want Metal Hawk. I want it to be like, give me Pretender Shell Metal Hawk. Give me the human armor, the Tiberium sword, that kind of stuff. Give me Metal Hawk, and then the little accessories could be the Headmaster Juniors, could be all kinds of stuff. I want Metal Hawk. That'd be really cool. And number three, and this is just totally left field, but it still is the G1 continuity. I want Road King. Road King was from Master Force also. He was a race car driver character. He was a Formula One. So you could do like the little engine thing as an accessory. You could do Road King, the human character, as an accessory. You could have his gun. You could have like, I guess, like the master braces as a weapon too or something. Again, these ones I don't have to be logical with my choices because Super 7 is doing crazy stuff on their own. So those are my three. I'm pretty sure I could think of three others, but we'll just go with those. Dream Out There sent a super chat. Thank you, Dream Out There. And Dream Out There is saying, Earthrise Prowl, Smokescreen, Blue Streak, and Barricade are all fragile. Transparent hinges and backpacks. Also, they don't fit together or transform well. Really? Really? So you're trying to tell me that I should just open this up and leave this in robot mode? Is that the case? That's a shame. That's a shame, especially the Barricade, because the Barricade would have been a really cool one to get just because, historically that character has never really looked like this. It's always been a Micromaster. Man, that's a shame. That's a shame. Really. Is it because, I'm trying to see, I haven't opened it yet. Is it because it was molded in clear plastic and then they painted over it? Because that could probably be the primary reason for that. I mean, there's a lot of paint on this guy right here. Look at all the paint decos on that. That's not molded in plastic. You got to give props to Hasbro there on that one. When they need to be lazy, they'll be lazy. But when they put paint, they put paint. I think this was primarily clear, and they painted on top of it. That's what I think. But, I mean, thanks for the heads up, guys, because that way, a nice gift from Michael Koo doesn't end up broken in half like Jazz in the 2007 movie. So that sucks. That sucks. I don't even have Barricade yet. Like, I have the Siege one, but I don't have the Earthrise one. The Earthrise one, whatever you want to call it, the Datsun version. That kind of sucks. That's too bad. That is too bad. We got another super chat from Max Shade 7. Thank you, Max, for the super chat question. Always appreciate the super chats. Hey, Proto, how do trademarks work? How much time must pass before Hasbro loses a trademark? Okay, this is gonna be a fun one. So there's multiple layers to this. I love this question because I love trademarks and I always pay attention to it. And when I was doing stuff with Fun Publication and everything, we always had to pay attention to that. So essentially, this also ties into when Hasbro back in the day used to do their product preview panels at BotCon. So How it works essentially is you have a character engineered or designed. You know you're going to be making that character. It's in prototype form. It's all of that. Now you're talking the American market. American market has patents, trademarks, all kinds of stuff that protect different companies. It's different around the world. Japan is a whole other animal. That's why you could have a remote control that says Optimus on it in Japan and no one gets sued. Here's the thing. They have to trademark the name. Make sure no other companies have that trademark. Then they trademark the name. Let's say they trademark Shockwave, right? And I'm not saying that Shockwave is not trademarked. He is, but they trademark Shockwave. The second they issue that trademark, a timer begins. 4 years. And there's a 4-year bubble that they have to put out product that has that trademark. If they don't, they get in trouble. What is that trouble? I've heard different stories but from different people, but the primary understanding is a fine from the trademark office and the trademark taken away from you for 2 years, which when you're a big company like Hasbro, you don't need Mattel coming in and going, oh, that Shockwave there, I'm just going to take that and put that on a He-Man character. So essentially, that's how it works. Now, when trademarks are coming up to expire at that 4-year period, the trademark office actually gives an extra 6 months for re-registration. So they could re-register it and continue using it. So when you have those trademarks, usually what happens is it gives you a good idea of Transformer product that's coming. And that's why I always say, like when people go, hey, do you think they're going to be a new, let me see here, Override? You know, is Override going to get a new toy? And I go, does Hasbro have it trademarked right now? Because if Hasbro doesn't have a trademark, they're probably not going to be making an Override character. Now, the flip side of it is sometimes they do have plans to make an Override, but the trademark is issued at the last second because it goes, like I said, when you issue that trademark, the countdown begins. So back in the day at BotCon, when they did the product preview panels, they didn't want people taking photos of stuff because there was patents, there was all kinds of stuff that was just for the fans. But one thing also is some of those characters that they'd be previewing a year in advance, 2 years in advance, the trademarks weren't there yet. So if people are taking photos and sharing them online, and then all of a sudden Mattel knows that they're going to be making a Black Shadow figure for the Generations line or whatever, if Mattel wants to be a bunch of dickbags, they could just swoop in and go, well, we're going to take Black Shadow and we're going to throw that on a Barbie accessory, or something. So it's essentially, that's kind of the gist of it. I mean, if there's more you want me to answer, because there's a lot of other legal mumbo jumbo with that, because at the same time you could go, well, Proto, how did they not lose Devastator after all those years? Well, sometimes you see a trademark for Transformers used on other Hasbro brands. There was a line of Street Fighter toys under the G.I. Joe emblem back in the early 90s, and there was an accessory that was called Devastator. It was a vehicle where you put Ken and Ryu and Chun-Li, and I believe it was a repaint of the Snowcat, if I remember correctly. And then there's tons of My Little Pony toys that had Transformer names on them, because it's like, oh, we're not going to be using that Sea Spray name for Transformers during those 4 years. But we don't want to lose the trademark and get fined. Put it on a pony. That's pretty much it. If there's any more, just let me know. I can't really but it's a big one. There's a lot of stuff going on with trademarks and stuff, but they're very important. They're very important to understanding the brand, understanding why characters happen. Sometimes in the past when people would be like, ew, why are they doing this ugly bludgeon repaint on a movie toy? Because they got to do something. Because they have no plans to do bludgeon in the next 5 years, but they have it trademarked and they got to do something. So sometimes a repaint is the easiest answer. Or back in the day when they had the Creo line or when they had the Bot Shots line, talk about easy lines to throw a trademark on. That's how it was, my brother. But thank you for the question. Dream Out There follows up saying, yes, 70% of the plastic of the Datsuns. What? Man, that's like in the Transformers animated line. I'm just going to turn it there. You can barely see it because my mic is in the way. It's right in the way of the character I want to talk. In the Transformers animated line, Lockdown had a clear repaint, Stealth Lockdown, And that's like one of the most fragile animated toys ever made. I never transformed it. I remember I took it out of the packaging and I was like, ooh, I ain't taking that risk. Because he was pure clear plastic and it just didn't feel right. And again, Transformer animated toys are amazing quality, but that one made my feet curl, so to speak. But I guess he's going to be staying in robot mode now. That's a shame. Sorry, Michael. I guess I'm going to have to keep him in robot mode. But he's not fragile, right? I'm looking forward to this guy. 86 movie, yo. Alrighty then. Thank you for all the info. Next super chat question from Downright Superb. Why not continue naming them Autobot something? Because still sometimes that's not enough. When you're talking a trademark that has a lot of leeway and has like, to give an example, Jazz. I can barely see him. There's Meister over there because that's literally what that was called back then. That was called Autobot Meister at that time. The WWE, aka the WWF at the time, had a predominant African-American female wrestler named Jazz. Tons of merchandising, t-shirts, everything. And Hasbro couldn't use it. That was that. And if they did Autobot Jazz, maybe that wouldn't have been enough. You know, maybe they Autobot Ratchet is fine because no one owns Ratchet. So if you put Autobot Ratchet, you're still not stepping on anyone's toes, and Hasbro gets to kind of own that at least. Autobot Ratchet we own. Usually you see the Autobot something or the something something, like in the case of G.I. Joe, Agent Scarlet, because it's Hasbro wanting to own it because the name is too generic. So, like, you can't trademark Scarlet. It's a color. You can't. So, but Agent Scarlet, you could trademark. So it's that the Autobot thing is usually primarily because of that. It's more because the name that follows it is difficult. Otherwise, like, if it's a trademark reason, like, we can't do Shockwave because Mattel has Shockwave. You can't call it Decepticon Shockwave because Mattel's still going to go, hey, yo, what's up, guys? We need some money. Motu's not doing well for us, so we're going to sue you for that Shockwave. So I think that's the primary reason. The Autobot thing is more for generic names, not so much for trademarks that they can't use because they're not owned. We couldn't use Jazz for slightly different reasons. There's a lot of... Jazz was, again, a generic thing. There's a lot of stuff going on there. And in the end, they finally got Jazz for the Michael Bay movie. That's what I believe that was the official return. I want to say. I'm trying to think if there was a Jazz figure before it. No, there wasn't. Yeah, Meister really was the last one. Documentation of Ken Burns got copyright for all categories for Jazz for a while. Wow. Okay. Well, there you go, too. Straight from the horse's mouth from Hasbro back in the day. So... because Jazz is a music genre, and I guess Ken Burns copyrighted all of that. Isn't that crazy? But that happens sometimes. Sometimes you have a guy that just knows, hey, if you trademark it and you own it, and a company needs it, it happens. Next question. Do you think Hasbro will release a new version of Landfill from the Robots in Disguise Transformers 2001 series? Well, it's a matter of asking yourself, like, is Hasbro willing to create a historically Constructicon kind of concept today and kind of, I guess, let's put it this way, make it Autobots? I mean, look, even Landfill himself was repainted as Devastator at one point just because they wanted to really throw back to that. I would like it because I like car robots and, the whole team and everything in the Japanese version. Build Boy, and Build Hurricane, Build Typhoon. And when you think about it, like, let's see, what were the trademarks on that? So we had Grimlock was one of them. We had Wedge, which for sure doesn't exist anymore, that trademark. We had Hightower, which also I know that trademark doesn't exist anymore. And that one's an interesting trademark because that goes all the way back to Kenner when they were doing the Police Academy toy line. What's that last one? It was Wide Load? Heavy Load? I think it was Heavy Load was the last one. So, I mean, and that one too, I don't think they have that trademark either. So they'd have to probably make a bunch, either re-trademark stuff, use pre-existing trademarks, call it Long Haul one, the Grimlock one, call it, Hooks. They might have to use some, some Devastator names. But I could see it at one point happening, maybe for an anniversary year. But, I mean, that one's really low. Like, again, and don't get me wrong, I love those guys, but I think they're really low on the list. They really are. They really, really are. But thank you for the question. We have a gold super chat question. A gold super chat question from Stinkfist69. Stinkfist69 wants to know, I really don't care for Bay's last two movies, Age of Extinction and The Last Night. I still want Studio Series figures from them movies because some of those designs are cool. Of course, I had Hot Rod in that one. What's your thoughts? Last Saturday, you got two figures. What's their names? Thanks, man. The two figures that I got last week were, and I'm probably going to be doing a toy review on them because YouTube's forcing me to do a toy review on my other channel. I got these two guys from the Cyberverse Battle Call line. These were on special. So, yeah. I'm going to be doing a review on one of them. I don't know which one yet. I have a pretty good idea who I'd like to do a review on. And that's going to be on the Proto Retro channel. Just because YouTube is putting a gun to my head. They literally sent me an email going like, you haven't done a video in 2 years because I've been doing this channel. And they want me to... It says here, you have 14 days to do it. Otherwise, we're going to get rid of some of your partner program advantages like custom thumbnails and all that stuff. So I was like, all right, I'm going to do a video. So, yeah, those were the two figures. As you were saying before, like, what's your thoughts last Saturday on the two figures I got? Well, I mean, personally, I think this one's the better of the two just because you could put a hat on him. You could take it off. You could add little accessories. But I'll go more deeper into this one in the near future. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. This guy... what was his, Meteofy or something? The only problem I have is he's loose. Listen to that hollowness. They're very loose, these guys. And, I mean, the only thing that's like... Actually, I could show you. So here's how the battle call gimmick works. So, here's the light. Right? Ah! So, the louder I yell... it freaks out. So it's fine. And then, ah! See how it pulsates when I talk louder? Very weird, eh? That's a gimmick. So you yell at your toy because it's floppy and you should have got a better Generations toy. Crikey. But yeah, he's okay. He's okay. Good articulation, but just the quality's not there. And this is the only toy version of this character, which is a shame. But I like the little accessories, the weapons and stuff. So I'm kind of on the fence with it, but I still like it. Still a cool figure. Thank you for the question, by the way, Stinkfist69. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you for the gold super chat on top of that. Because you golden, brother. I named all those guys. Oh, you named all the landfill guys. So landfill dude... Aaron Archer, the man, is here. You could give him all the praise for your favorite combiner team. We got a super chat question from Michael Koo, and he wants to know, Proto Man, is Transformers Cyberverse popular enough in Japan that we'll get Masterpiece Cyberverse figures? Michael, I doubt it. Cyberverse really is getting quite the shaft. The big problem with Cyberverse in Japan is that they actually are waiting to get more episodes because they want to do it in a half-hour format and put like multiple episodes together to create a half-hour format. And the problem with that is if you take all the Cyberverse episodes we've had thus far, 3 seasons, and actually turn them into half-hour episodes by squeezing them together, you barely have 1 season. So they're actually waiting for those 2 TV movies. They're probably going to chop up those TV movies, and then they're going to have a full season of probably, I guess, 36 episodes, or maybe on the 28, Japanese like double weekly episode system. I don't know how they're going to do the editing. It's kind of like how when Transformers Animated was brought over, they edited it and gave different kind of, they added the Autoboto family and all that kind of stuff. But they edited it so that it was shorter, but it could also fit within the time frame, because Japan has longer commercial breaks than we do. They have way longer commercial breaks. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with that. They also have longer intros than we do. We have 30-second intros. They have 1 minute and 30-second intros. Maybe Cyberverse will get a really cool anime intro. Or maybe not. Probably not. But that would be cool. Where are we at here? Where are we at? What's the next question? Hey, Proto, do you think Wild Wheel would make a great mercenary? I think he is a mercenary in a lot of ways. I know that when Hasbro showed the original photos of him, he actually had an Autobot logo on his chest. And then they changed it to a Decepticon for the final version of the toy. So, I feel he's a mercenary at heart. I really do. I really do. Alrighty, where are we at? Where are we at? Stinkfist, what do you mean, what's his name again? Which one, brother? Let me know what you're talking about. Let me know what you're talking about, brother. Hey, Proto, I love Deluxe Beast Machines Primal, but it's pure clear plastic. Do you think Hasbro can redo him in regular plastic? Well, that's what they wanted to do back in the day with Beast Machines. Beast Machines had a lot of clear plastic on a lot of their toys, some of them to the detriment, a.k.a. Night Scream, who shatters in half in his orange clear plastic. There's not a single Night Scream on the planet that's been transformed once today that won't break. That mold, I don't know. It's an interesting mold because it has the little shooting star and you can see the green brain inside. What a unique design those Beast Machines toys were, whether you love them or hate them. But I don't think they'll probably redo it. They'll just do Beast Machines over again. The Meteo one, I think his name is Meteo Fire. I think it is. Yeah, it's Meteor Fire. I think it is Meteor Fire or Meteo Fire. I think it's Meteor. It's Meteor Fire, if I remember correctly. Meteor Fire, and he has a Australian accent, and he's kind of a parody of the amazing Steve Irwin. The awesome Steve Irwin. Rest in peace. Stay away from Depth Charge. Where we at? Hey, Proto, were the Japanese Transformers series well received by Western fans during the 90s? Are you kidding? They thought it was the coolest thing in the world. When they saw Starsaber, and Starsaber was like putting his sword through people and killing them, and we were like, think of it, especially in the 90s. In the 90s, all we had was G1 Season 1, 2, and 3, and Season 4, those messy episodes. We had G2, which was just G1 episodes. We had Beast Wars. We were just getting into Beast Machines. And we had the Marvel Comics, which were awesome in their own right. So it was just this mystical world over there of characters die and there's consequences and people don't come back. And episodes with characters like Death Cobra that were getting killed accidentally with no remorse. And it was a whole, especially me, I was just like, oh my God, it's the coolest thing ever. And there's this great photo of me in grade 10 in 1998 or 1999. And I'm still wearing my school uniform. And G1 Starsaber mint in box came in the mail. I saved up for him. I bought him for $110 on eBay. Mint in box. Ugh. Good times. The Brainmaster gimmick. Love it, love it, love it. Where are we at? What is the most obscure Transformer you know? Well, considering I know almost every Transformer ever made, I don't know. What's an obscure Transformer? Does anyone know Scrounge? Does anyone know Paddles? Paddles is a weird one. Never had a toy. What's another weird one? Stuff like Flame from the UK comics is now kind of better known now within the Tumblr community. I don't know. I'll go with Paddles. Not a lot of people know about Paddles. the first 6th Dinobot. Hey, Proto, just finished watching Beast Wars for the first time today. Congratulations, my friend. My friend who watched it with me likes the Netflix series more. Your friend has terrible taste. Have no clue how they think that. Some people just have terrible taste. You know, I always say like everyone's allowed their own opinion, but I don't know how you could take Beast Wars, that literally is one of the greatest Transformers series of all time, and the Netflix series is that while they're not terrible, they need a lot of work. I don't know. That is that's amazing stuff. The fact that your friend could say that. Let's see. Where are we at? Let's take some more random ones. Take a random one here. Would you rather have G1 Huffer, toy, or G1 Erector, toy? And how would you do a mercenary faction combiner? Well, considering that we already have G1 Huffer coming, and if you're asking me which would I rather own, well, I own both. So I would just like a new Erector or anything, just because Erector's cool. And I worked on his bio throughout the years. I did the third-party ones for Shafter back in the day. Anyone who is a Patreon member of a certain tier get a free Shafter trading card in the mail. So I would like to see another Erector. Giggity. And how would a mercenary faction work? Well, considering mercenaries usually work on their own, for them to combine would be interesting. I don't know. Start with the OG mercenary in Lockdown. Have him be the centerpiece. Give him Swindle, because he always kind of like works for himself. So he could be kind of a mercenary. And then we could put maybe Drift, who goes back and forth depending on continuity. Could put him in there. And then I guess Double Dealer. And then we could put Punch and Counter Punch, even though he's technically an Autobot. I don't know. I can't imagine them wanting to combine, because mercenaries think only for themselves. So that'd be kind of crazy. Stinkfist says, I had the same feeling when I first watched Wicked City. Wicked City. Oh my God, that brings me back. Last night on some cable channel back in the 90s. Wicked City is a old school anime, but viewer discretion is advised. I'm a huge Beast Wars fan. And we eventually had to get some Beast Wars characters over G1. Of course. Kidding me? I'd hate to say it, but it's like most Beast Wars characters have more character development than 99% of G1. Look, Cliffjumper's a popular character, but you're trying to tell me Cliffjumper has more personality and more depth than Rat Trap? You know? Like, that's, I mean, and I if you ask me who do I like more, I still like Cliffjumper more than Rat Trap, but Rat Trap has way more personality. Where we at? Hey, Proto, is Kingdom Vertebrake female? Because I keep seeing people calling her that. I believe she was referred to as female in one of the streams by Hasbro, and that's where that comes from. That's what I want to say. I believe it was John Warden. Somebody was doing one of them and referred to her as a she, and we roll with it from that point on. Josh Perez wants to know, the legendary Joshua Perez, who's doing amazing stuff. Get his cover in the near future for the Beast Wars comic book if you have not pre-ordered it already. Hey, Proto, new to channel. Just want to say that who is your favorite Commandron and McDonald's McChangeable? You know what I have, Josh, under this table? I have a bucket of Commandrons. Ugh. No joke. A bucket of Commandrons. I've had always... Oh, Jesus Christ. So who would be my favorite of the bunch? So, true story, because when I was a kid, I had all of these. Now I have too many of these. I obviously liked the car best because he actually had a face, and he had hands, and they all could walk, but he had a face, and that was a big deal because I think this one's Commander Magma. Commander Magma just had, that's his face. That's kind of a fail in my mind. Same thing with I forget this dude's name. That's a fail in my mind. And then where's the last one? And then again the little UFO here. At least he kind of had a face, but it's a weird UFO, so not. So the race car wins by default. No surprise. The guy who likes race cars liked the race cars. I think there's some of these SO ones in here too, but it's mostly these guys. As for the McChangeables, throw this back here. As for the McChangeables, Josh, my psychic powers work. Those are in the glass displays over there. So my favorite of the McChangeables would have to be Big Mac. When I was a kid, I used to pretend, no joke, my Big Mac was Alpha Trion because he looked like an old man with like a mustache kind of. So I used to pretend he was my Alpha Trion. So Mag was cool. The other one is Velocit. Okay. I have to memorize the names. I know that they had comics back in the day. I should go back and read them one day. Put them in the Transformer lore section of the Patreon, maybe. I'll dig them up. But I have a huge, because don't ask, every single collection I have ever bought of Transformers from people always have these guys. I must have like 40 complete sets of these. Like, it's absolutely nuts. And they're great toys. They're great. They're pullbacks, so they lunge forward. And if you pull them back and stand them up, they walk because they have these two little pins. Like for any of my, let me just grab one. For any of my younger viewers that aren't familiar with them, so like they had this little gimmick here. Ignore this suggestive little piece that when you pulled it back, hold on, and it was standing up, you had these two little legs. See, so it could walk. Isn't that cool? But when you had it this way, and you'd push this, because obviously it'd be on the ground, you would pull back and go, yo. Love it. Love it. Thank you for the question, Josh. I think Fry Force was the name of the larger fry. Oh my God, now you're making me remember the names. Oh boy. I have no idea what those are. Aaron, you don't know what those are. Wow. Okay. The Commandrons were at the time when Transformers was at peak popularity and everyone was trying to make their own robot line. You had Tommy in Japan that made these guys. And McDonald's brought them over and sold them as McDonald's toys. So they were just these really cool, simple little robots, 4 of them, making me dig them up again. Oh, one fell. And they were, let's just say, because they were a McDonald's toy, a very good McDonald's toy, but a McDonald's toy nonetheless, they were quite plentiful. Maybe I'll throw one in my next Patreon gift boxes in the future. Thank you for the question, Josh. That was a good one. Where are we at here? Hey, Proto, I've watched most of G1 and looking of reading into the IDW 2005. How would I suggest going about it? Ooh, boy. If you go into the IDW 2005 stuff, the 2005 continuity, try to find a reading order list because there's a lot of books. Were they in the USA? Yes, they were, Aaron. They were released in McDonald's in the USA and released in Japan under Tomy as just whatever. Going back to what you were asking, Robin, try to find a reading order because there's so many books on the side that you got to find out where they fit in timeline-wise, especially all those spotlight books. It gets a little crazy at the beginning in terms of like reading order. It gets so much easier later when it's kind of like, oh, it's 2 books and you just kind of read these books chronologically along each other. But at first it was a mess. There were so many side books and it's like, oh, Stormbringer, Spotlight. Oh, here's this Dinobot book. Oh, what's happening here? Dark Cybertron. Oh man, there were so many books. So try to find a reading order book. I'm pretty sure there's one online. Someone must have put one. But yeah, that's my 2 cents on that. Proto, who would win? Waspinator, Big Mac, or Unicron? Well, Unicron would eat the 2 of them, but Waspinator can't die because he has an indestructible spark, even though it's never been said in continuity. But I have to go with Unicron. The only way a Big Mac would win is a Big Mac would probably outlive them all because of all the chemicals they put in them, and Big Macs don't disintegrate. See the movie Super Size Me and learn about that one. But I still would go for a Big Mac. We got 30 minutes left, guys. 30 minutes left. You know what's hilarious? I was emptying out the Commandron box there, and there's this. I got this from Goober. Goober was having a party. Anyone who knows Goober from the Transformer TFCon conventions. Alrighty. Could you see any TF animated characters coming back in the Generations line? See, the problem with that is then you would have to have that, you would expect that animated aesthetic. And I don't think they would do that, personally. I don't think they would do that, you know? But, I mean, I would like it. I would love to see more animated stuff. But you'd have to then go back to how that style was of animated toys, which were very unique compared to what came before with Cybertron and what came after with Prime. So you'd have to, whoever's the designers at the time, they're going to have to take a class in that and do some interesting Derek Wyatt-esque kind of tooling. Because otherwise, I mean, then you just have Clobber from the Cyberverse line, who's just Lugnut. Or you have like Generations versions of like, you know, Lockdown and stuff like that. Or even the Generations Thrilling 30 Blitzwing. It had the face changing gimmick, even though it technically wasn't, you know, animated Blitzwing. Proto, do you think the Beast Machine's Transect designs will ever be revisited, official or unofficial? Unofficial, well, third-party companies have done crazier, so I could see that happening. Officially, I think sooner or later we're going to see more Beast Machine stuff. Look, every so often we got Tankor. You know, every so often we get like a Beast Machines kind of throwback. I could see it happening. I could see if they continue doing this Beast stuff with Kingdom, sooner or later they're going to have to do a Beast Machines character. We're going to see probably sooner or later a Botanica. We're probably going to see sooner or later maybe a Rat Trap with no legs and just wheels. We'll see something. I'm sure of it. Or even Jetstorm. You know, a lot of those Viacons, they're just such appealing characters like Strika, Jetstorm, Obsidian, even the Thrust design, which is really just, spoiler, Waspinator. But the Thrust design, I could see it happening. Just hire Eric, I guess Eric Siebeneller we're referring to. Just hire Eric to freelance that stuff. Done. Well, Eric Siebeneller, if he wants to bring back Beast Machines. But yeah, I mean, I would like to see more of it, but it's just a matter of Hasbro's just following those trademarks right now, and you got to give yourself a Prime, a Soundwave, a Starscream, a Megatron, a Bumblebee. It's unfortunate. Ever since the 2007 movie, they're protecting it more than ever. It's their golden goose. It is Hasbro's golden goose. Outside of Magic that just prints money for them. Hey, Proto, name all 86 characters you think Hasbro could put in an 86 line. All of them. Even characters that didn't have names. You know? Look, we could have like Studio Series 86 stuff of the Sweeps. They don't have names. You know, but they're going to be in it. Or all those Junkions that didn't have names. There's going to be a lot of cool stuff. Someone mentioned before in the chat, I forget who, someone was saying like Springer. I could see Springer. Look, we got a great Siege toy. Don't get me wrong, the Siege toy was really good. But at the end of the day, that Siege toy had like the battle damage and stuff on it. Clean that thing up, tool it a little bit, boom. Put it in a Voyager price point. People going to buy that stuff like nothing. Where are we at? Got to grab another random one here. Oh, Michael wants to know. I just noticed this at TF War for Cybertron Kingdom Dinobot. In his alt mode, his face has no upper and lower front teeth. does allow his jaw to close together. I guess it's probably so the paint doesn't scratch, I would imagine. That's probably the main reason. Or maybe that's how a Velociraptor's mouth is. I'm not a paleontologist. Someone would have to confirm that for me. I don't have that figure yet. I have the Masterpiece one, but one day I'll get the Kingdom one. Maybe someone will send it in the mail. Can you name every Autobot from the first season of G1? I can, but I don't want to have to waste everyone's time. Why don't you just look at them instead? You know? I'll name my favorite season 1 Autobot. Probably Blue Streak. Of the cars and of the mini bots, tie between Brawn and Cliffjumper. Maybe Brawn edges it out just a little bit. Hey Proto, do you want a Studio Series 86 Constructicon set? Well, I imagine they're just going to repackage the Titan class one. We'll see. I don't think it's necessary right now, but we'll see. Give it a couple years. They don't need to do that. They don't need to do that Devastator trademark just yet. And they'll probably throw it on something else anyways. Hey Proto, do you have one of the Beast machine? Hey Proto, do you have one of those Beast Wars Transmetal Optimus Megatrons with the pinkish chrome? Yes, I do. I have the variants. I really like to see one in person and get in my collection at some point. Like, over there is. I wish I could zoom. Oh no, wait. I think I can zoom. Hold on a second. I think I can zoom. One moment. Could I zoom without screwing up the stream? If we go to properties, if we go to config, will it work? Will it work? I don't know if it'll work. Oh, maybe it'll work. So zoom, zoom. Oh, is that all I could zoom? Oh, that sucks. This camera sucks. Anyways, so that's my Beast Wars collection, 100% complete. It's hard to tell from this angle, but and then Beast Machines and Japanese stuff's under it. He's somewhere there. It's hard to see. I don't want to take them out right now, I'll be honest with you. And not to, oh geez, that's too close. I don't want to take out especially Megatron because he's fragile like there's no tomorrow. I could, if you bug me on Twitter, I could send you some photos, some comparison photos when I have time, but not during the stream right now to go and get them. We got another question from Michael Koo. Proto, why doesn't Hasbro include sound chips in action figures anymore? Because you got to get someone to do the voice. Usually it's a Hasbro person there, but if you have to hire a voice actor, that costs money. Not to mention that you want to have that synergy. So if the character does speak, you want it to sound like how he does on the show, but then you got to hire the voice actor to do that, which I'm pretty sure is a lot more expensive than hiring some random guy that you push a button and it goes Megatron attack. I am Optimus Prime. Enhance. I never understood that with crime shows. Enhance, 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 and it looks so perfect. Hey Proto, would you like an update of the rest of the GoBot repaint mini bots like Treads? You know what? As much as that's something that Hydra and Sakamoto were talking about at one of their BotCon panels. I think it was the very last BotCon, where they were going to take all of those molds that exist that cross-pollinate with that GoBots e-hobby line. It was on the table. E-hobby was going to do something, and then nothing just came of it because that was that. I'm pretty sure there's a TF Wiki article about it somewhere. I know that not a lot of people took photos of that panel, but it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. And Sakamoto and Hydra are two awesome dudes. Hey Proto, do you think we will ever get a Titan Nemesis? Well, let's put it this way. The rumor that I'm hearing is they're going to be discontinuing the Titan class price point, primarily because there's just no platform that it makes sense in. Uh, Walmart probably is pushing them, saying we don't want big stuff like that, and places like GameStop and everything are having difficulty. So that's what I think it is. And it kind of makes sense that they could then do 2 Commanders instead, which I keep hearing is the alternative of that. But if Hasbro does want to continue doing HasLab stuff with Transformers, I could see the Nemesis being a much more realistic character to do for crowdfunding over even Primus. If I had a choice, would I prefer Primus or the Nemesis? I would pick Primus. But if I was a businessman, the Nemesis makes way more sense to do. From a mainstream standpoint, from a going to San Diego Comic-Con and that's your centerpiece that you're showing off, at your booth, it makes way more sense to do the Nemesis. So that's what I think with that. And I just want to say that Reptile, you have an amazing avatar, because I love Reptile. And I will answer your question. You got a Tarantulas figure? I got many. Not only do I got many Tarantulas figures, on my old Proto Retro channel, I did the history of Tarantulas figures throughout the years, including bootlegs, because I got to work on a Tarantulas figure for the very last BotCon year. I actually wrote his bio. And thank you to Jesse for that opportunity. What is the best toy based on Mortal Meets the Eye Rodimus? I'm so bad with third-party names. It's that one. God, what company is that? Where's the box? Oh no, I don't have the box around either. Mastermind Creations. I think that's it. The Mastermind Creations one. And it had 3 different colors too. It had the Lost Light colors, it had the Shattered Glass colors, and then it had the traditional colors. And then it was later on turned into a extensive remold repaint into Nitro Convoy, one of my favorite characters. Hey Proto, what do you think the odds are of another Ultra Magnus down the line for the Studio Series 86 line? Totally possible. Give it 2 years. Anything is possible once you put distance. That's what I always say. If they put out an Ultra Magnus figure and you go, oh, well, they're not going to do another, give it 2 years. They'll do it again. Think about it. Like, when did what was that, the one there that had, oh my God, why am I blanking on his name right now? Oh man. The one that had the dude in his chest. Why am I blanking on his name? What is wrong with me? Oh my God. I think I'm tired. So you had the Ultramax that was a leader class that had the dude in his chest from the Mortal Meets the Eye books. I think that was, what year was that? That was Combiner Wars? So that had to be 3 years ago? 4 years ago? Yeah, it was 4 years ago. So think about it. They did that one. Then they did the one in Siege. Now we have the one in Kingdom. They took time off for Ultra Magnus during Earthrise. So thank you, Minimus Ambus. What is wrong with me? Whew! What is wrong with me? And they did a repaint of him as Alpha Trion. Man, what is wrong with me today? Oh, that I should have had that in the back of my brain. Thank you, people. Oh, God. But yeah, so like think about it. They did that one. They took 2 years off or 3 years off. They then did the Siege one. They took 1 year off. They did the Earthrise one. Excuse me, not the Earthrise one. The Kingdom one. Give it 2 years. They'll do it again. They'll do it again. They give it a little bit of distance and they revisit those characters. I mean, really, think they're going to stop doing this? They won't. 2015. There you go. 5 years ago. 5 years. And then in 2017 we had Siege. And then 2020. Siege was 2018. All these numbers in my head screwing me up. Kingdom, Earthrise, Rodimus Prime in August. Yep, supposedly. That's when the pre-order dates for Japan is. Might even be earlier. Hey, Proto, when do you think a Kingdom line or Kingdom subline or Studio Series subline of the original 13 will happen? There was talks about that. I remember when Aaron was still with them during the time of Transformers Prime, that there was a talk of doing a line of original 13 figures, and nothing ever came of it. And I would have loved that. You know, I would have loved that completely, especially like, let me just grab the old Covenant of Primus here, you know, but like, you know, like imagine like we got this dude, we got him. He was a Build-A-Figure, but we got him at least. In Alchemist, and we got Micronus. Would have been really cool to get to. Let's see, where's who else we got here? Of course, Megatronus, aka The Fallen. Who did the art? Such good art in this. Such good art. And of course, we got good old the amazing Master of Time with his force chip key in the background there of Vector Prime. What else we got? And we got the 13. Gee, I wonder who he is. Never was a fan of that. Never was a fan of the 13. Never was a fan of that. And we got Amalgamus. All of them. All of them. Where's That's weird. Where's Prima? Prima's got him. Oh, here's Nexus and Onyx. Either way. Yeah, Solus would be cool. Solus was done in third party. Here's Solus. Solus was done with third party, so at least you could kind of get your fix with that one. And oh, there we go. Alpha Trion and Prima. There we go. The Quill. Great little book. And I believe at one point was on sale on Amazon. Considering you get that crazy transforming packaging and stuff, totally worth it. Totally worth it. Totally worth it. Written by Justina. Stinkfist69 wants to know what your favorite character from the Prime series of Autobots and Decepticons. I really liked the way they did Smokescreen, but that's more season 3. But season 1, I'd probably have to go with, I guess RC was probably the most interesting, or Wheeljack, just because it was such a different take on Wheeljack. For the Decepticons, let's go with Knockout, because he was different. What book is that? That is the Covenant of Primus. I wish I could go up there and show you the box that it comes in. Comes in a box in a box. I did a full review of this. Just type Proto-Retro Covenant of Primus. I did a whole review showing everything about this book and its whole story and reading ancient Cybertronian till all are one. Great book. This is your Transformer Bible. Literally. Finish the quote, Megatron. Nor would they be defeated. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. What repaints could we get from the two other fossilizer weaponizers? I don't know. I would feel like with that Triceratops on Ractonite, I believe it's called. With Ractonite, if they do a really crazy repaint, we could get the Neo character of Punch. But I don't know. Those ones, I'm curious. I feel like if they mix and match parts, they could probably make new characters and repaint them. But you're kind of limited by bone as a color. You know what I mean? They got lucky with Transmutate, obviously. But there's only so much one could do, really. Aaron Archer says, I worked hard to make that book happen and its direction. And that's why Aaron constantly is signing it. I have seen this page with you many a time being signed. I think I had the sign one too, and it made no sense. I remember drawing Proto Man here. Someone asked me to sign it, which makes no sense because I had nothing to do with this. I had nothing to do with that. Much more creative people than me had stuff to do with that. But yeah, that's an amazing book. I'm pretty sure Pretty sure your name's got to be in here somewhere, Aaron. I'd be insulted if it wasn't. Let's take a look. Livio image credits. Oh, Casey did some of the art. That's why the art is awesome. Casey Collar. Ah. Why isn't Aaron's name in any of the credits? Image credits from High Moon Studios. Ken Christensen. Livio. Of course, Livio did art because Livio is great too. Aaron. You know why? Because they were doing this serious, like as if it was actually written by Alpha Trion. So they can't mention a human. Oh man, we have only 10 minutes left in the stream. What's going on? Hey Proto, how would HasLab Primus work? Oof. I don't think they would do Primus, but I mean I would like it if they did Primus, but I don't think they will. Considering how Unicron was a drag to the finish line, Primus would be way more difficult, even though he turns into Cybertron. But yeah, I don't know. It would be tough. It would be tough, that one. I do see a Primus toy happening again at some point at that Commander class that now exists, which is like kind of a Supreme at this point. But at the same time, I don't know. I can't see it from HasLab. I think HasLab would... The Nemesis just makes more sense. It really does. It really does. We am Hasbro. Yeah, but you should still get a credit, Aaron, for all your hard work. You've influenced the brand in so many ways that people do not realize. Especially when we were going in a stronger sci-fi direction and taking the brand way more seriously as a worldwide Marvel-level brand that can make tons of money. I hope it could one day return to that. Get that audience back. Man, there were so many Transformer fans in 2009 and 2010. It was peak popularity back then. Are we going to get better Transformer games sooner than later? Well, there's another Aaron thank you, because Aaron was very much to do with those good Transformer games of War for Cybertron and Fall of Cybertron from High Moon. I don't think we're going to return to that anytime soon. We're going to be stuck in the license game nightmare. I mean, they just announced... credit is on the talent side. Okay, I guess. They just announced extra DLC that you got to pay for the Transformers Battleground game, and all it does is give you some extra maps, not even new characters, which is extremely disappointing. It's a fun game. Don't get me wrong, it's a fun game. It has a lot of the original voice actors from the Transformers Cyberverse series. I like turn-based strategy games, so they're fun for me, and I enjoy that. But a DLC that I have to pay for, and I don't even get new characters, just a bunch of map packs, I don't know. Like, that's the thing that sucks with licensed games, is they want to kind of get as much money as possible out of it in a short time, and product kind of suffers for it. Proto, could you give a small history lesson on the Rescue Force? Sure. The Rescue Force was a UK exclusive team that used 4 out of the 6 members of Lio Kaiser. When those toys were released, they were on single blister packs. They didn't come with the combiner accessories. Technically, you can combine them because they do have the pieces, the ports to do it, but it doesn't really combine into anything spectacular. And that's it. They have very simplistic names like Rescue Jet and Rescue this and Rescue that. And if you look carefully, right there is Rescue Lio Kaiser. And I'm using air quotes here. And then you can see the others, but they're kind of hard to see because this bar is in the way here. There's not much to say, really. They made a cameo in, I believe it was the... in the Wings of Honor books, in the Wings universe by Bakhan. That's about it for its entire history. Not much more I could say. Sorry, I couldn't log into Wiki from my brain here. Only so much Wiki information in here. I am the Wiki. You didn't know that? When you log into the Wiki, there's actually a wire here Hold on. Someone's trying to read up on Black Arachnia. One sec. All right. Okay, he's done with it. He finished early. I think Rodimus should be included in the Micromaster Hot Rod. I am surprised. I am shocked that they didn't make a Micromaster Hot Rod with that Star Convoy toy that they did. I was legitimately, no joke, when that Star Convoy was announced and it didn't have a Micromaster Hot Rod, with all those Micromaster molds that we have, I was shocked. No joke. No joke. They couldn't even make like a lazy repaint. I was so surprised. Like with Overdrive or Hyperdrive, whatever they call them, Hyperdrive with the trademark. We got 5 minutes left for super chats, guys. And then we're calling it quits for today. Hey, Proto, what's it like having your own TF Wiki page? Pretty cool, I guess. I don't know who did it. Someone did it. They did a good job. But thank you. Whoever did it, thank you. I think it was, honestly, I think I know who did it, because I remember at one of the TF cons in the United States, a very nice Asian fellow came up to me and asked me some information about what I did with the brand and stuff, and he mentioned that he was going to put it on the wiki, and I was like, okay. And I guess maybe it was him. I do not know. Someone's doing it. I have two, though. I have my personal, like, there's one and then there's another, which actually has more information on it. Hi, Proto. Do you see Hasbro doing playsets for Commander price point instead of actual characters? I would like that because I prefer playsets more, but from a business standpoint, I think it would be smarter to do characters. I mean, unless you do a really cool big playset. Like, you'd have to do, like Arachnid or Orkanok Beast Wars Microverse playset, and then I'd be like, okay, I'll do it. But otherwise, no, I think they should do characters. They need to do Magna Boss, Tripredicus, do Combiners. You know, that Commander class price point, because it's a larger price and has a bigger budget, there's more fun that you could do with that. You know, people always say, like, Tidal Wave. You know, you could do like a larger character and stuff like that. But yeah, you know, like I feel there's so much that could be done with that. That I think a playset would almost be to put a playset that won't really be a character. Would be a waste. Which is a shame because I would love it still. Aaron Archer's TF Wiki page needs work. So anyone from the TF Wiki that has a lot of time, it needs some updates. Aaron's stuff needs to be updated with a pretty photo. Get him with his nice beard. With his Thor beard. Hey, Proto. We didn't get a Commander class Thunder Arrow. Well, when we have our Transformers Victory homage series, whenever that happens in the future, we'll get the Thunder Arrow. 3, 2. Yeah, we got 2 minutes left. 2 minutes left. Hey, Proto, any chance we would try to made... Oh, wait, Hasbro try made to order? For what? For what, Jason? What would you like to have try made to order? The problem is that made to order is never the right thing to do when you're talking a big company like that. Because when you talk, especially Transformers, all the engineering involved, then, you know, doing all the molding and stuff, firing up all the casting for the factories, all the gang molding and color, all the stuff involved in that to do made to order, and then God forbid they do made to order and only 5 people order it. Oof. I don't think they'd want to do that. They rather have a certain amount of units, every retailer buys it, and then it's not their problem anymore. You know, that's usually the easiest way to go about it. I'll take one more super chat question, guys, and then we're calling it a day. And what a day it has been. Once again, thanks everyone for coming. We topped out at about 150 today, according to my analytics here in front of me. So it's always cool to have you guys come by, support the podcast, let me know that I'm doing a good job yapping about Transformers while Hasbro people judge me and shake their head. So the last question of the day comes from, we'll go with Matthew Rivera. And Matthew wants to know, hey, Proto. Oh, no, we have two now. We'll do Matthew, and then we'll do Edge, and then we're done. Matthew wants to know, haven't gotten Amazon Prime figure. Not yet, man. Still waiting for my Amazon stuff. But I'm Canadian. Everything is slow. And our last super chat question of the day comes from edogger21111. I got to work on that name. Can you tell me why we never received a toy accurate paint version of Skywarp for the Masterpiece 11 design? Well, that was a different era. That's probably the best way to put it. It's the remnants of that mold from the MP, 3 Starscream, redesigned into the MP11. The Japanese having one way of doing it, and then the Walmart exclusive Generations version doing another way. That was not the pursuit of show accuracy yet. When we inevitably do get our Skywarp for the new Starscream 3.0 or 2.0, however they want to call it, I guarantee it'll be show accurate. And he'll come with a bunch of stuff for sure. And it'll be cool, and it'll probably be expensive. But anyways, guys, once again, thank you for the stream. Thank you for everything. Thank you for coming. Thank you for supporting. If you want to support the podcast, always check the description below, patreon.com/protoman. Come join us. We have a Discord. We have a lot of cool stuff we have on there. I post deals. You can get cool stuff, cheap stuff. You could get rare lore. I just posted the translations of all the cool Sakamoto stuff just recently, so you can understand all the craziness that's going on in those 8 pages that were colored by the amazing Joshua Perez, also in the chat today. But yeah, thanks everyone for coming. Support the podcast. Check us all out. And as always, like I say, roll out.